But yeah, so before we get to the number one pick of 2021 for our top 10 games, we want to take a break for a second and get to the honorable mentions. So, Ray, why don't you give us your honorable mentions for 2021?
All right, so honorable mentions, games that I liked, I really enjoyed a lot, but they didn't quite make my top 10 list. I have, let's see, 4 games here that did not make my list that that I thought were really good. The first one is Halo Infinite. I really did enjoy that game, but as you could see, those of you been following all these, I didn't have it on my list at all.
Right,
Um,
you didn't.
I think it was a lot of fun. I think everything Mark said is right. I appreciate that they gave things away for free. I think that is the way to go. I think that's the route to go. I think it's a lot of fun on multiplayer, but unfortunately, I don't play multiplayer. So any of those points that Mark added to it just don't matter to me at all because I don't play multiplayer. I think they do have it right with the time to click kill. I think that's very inviting for new players, people who aren't big fans of games. I think all those points stand. I really just played the campaign, and while the campaign was fun and the gunplay is fun, there just isn't any depth there for me. They added some things for depth, but I just feel like they played it way too safe. And I didn't even think they needed to play it that safe. They could just add a couple other things. I don't think anyone would have complained. Just allowing you to have multiple powers to click on, I think, would have been a simple thing to do. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone would have complained about that. So I don't really
Mhm.
know what the whole playing it safe was about. But it just they dropped the ball for me in that regard. I thought it was cool. We finally have kind of like a pseudo open world. I thought it was a lot of fun with the grappling hook. What a great addition! It's amazing how just one single addition can make the game so
Changes
much
it.
more fun. And they did that. I just like if you made it just a few more risks, just how much better would it have been? So for me, Halo Infinite was a great game, but it didn't make my top 10. The next game that I want to include here is Loop Hero. Maybe a lot of you don't know what that is, but that was a little indie game that I got on the PC. It was basically it's like a turn-based game, and you have a guy that travels time in a loop. He just
Mm.
goes in one loop, and as you go through the loop, new enemies are added to the loop in random locations. And you get like cards, and you get to use those cards to add things to your loop to help you along the way. You
Okay.
level up, you get abilities, and it's just a lot of fun to see how well you can how long you can last in your loop before you die, because it's completely RNG. It's like a roguelike. So Loop Hero was really cool. The next game I really liked was 12 Minutes. I really enjoyed 12 Minutes.
Yeah.
That's a free to play game on the Xbox Game Pass. I thought that it had a lot of cool innovations. It's kind of like a loop game, like Deathloop, but there
Mhm.
isn't really action into any action involved in it. It's
It's
pure
pure
story.
story. Yeah.
Um, and it's a little clunky. The controls, I was not happy with the controls. There were some things about it that I thought were impossible to get, like without a guide. Some
Mhm.
aspects, like there's no way you would have figured that out without a guide. So in some respects, it was unplayable to a point for me, completely unplayable. But it was really cool. It had really cool ideas. I hope there's more games that take advantage of those concepts. But 12 minutes was really a really neat experience. And the last one on here that I'm including is Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 was not included on my list, but I did have a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed my time with it. I do think that it was basically just another Far Cry. They didn't do anything really new here at
Mm.
all. So for me, because of that, because they didn't really do anything new, it didn't really do enough to make my top 10 list. But I still really had a good time with it. So that's an honorable mention of mine.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Very nice. So I'm
Solid.
gonna jump in next. So my first honorable mention was a game that's fantastic. I played it with Squid Joe. Was Knockout City. So this is a great multiplayer only game where you play dodgeball essentially,
Mhm.
and it was just very clever mechanics. It had great graphics, smooth gameplay. It always, kept you wanting to play, come back. They're nice and short and sweet matches, so you don't have to be encumbered by a long multiplayer game. It's just a short and sweet. You pick it up, play it, put it down, and it's always a great time. My only knock on it was it should be a free game, dude. Like you can play a free version, but games Multiplayer only games should be free because they're nickel and diming you with all these cosmetics. They're throwing all these things in your face every time you play the game to get all these advertisements, and you have to pay for that. That's the slap in the face to all the customers. So that's my only knock on it. I feel like it should be a free to play game. It probably will be free at some points. It does have a free to try version where you can progress so far in it for free. But a game like this should be free. But Knockout City, incredible game. Another game that was pretty incredible, but it was overshadowed so much by another game on my list, I couldn't put it on, was Dandy Aces. So Dandy Aces is a fun roguelike that we played back when they first previewed it on that Microsoft showcase, and then it came to Microsoft Game Pass, and I played it again. It's honestly a really clever game, but comparing it to Hades, I just really couldn't put those two on my list. Dicey Dungeons was a very different kind of roguelike game, so that's why I kept that one on there. But I feel like Dandy Aces is too similar to Hades, and Hades is better in every way. But I still really like Dandy Aces, and I do want to beat that game eventually. I do want to go back and play it. It's a really, really, nice, clever, cool roguelike game. So those are my honorable mentions for the year.
Nice, man. Those are solid ones. A couple of those, I didn't even get a chance to play. So especially like Dandy Aces and stuff like that. So I might eventually get a chance to go and check that out since it is on Game Pass. It'll be on there for a little while. But so for my honorable mentions, the first one I wanted to mention, this one's it's not a game that came out recently. So that's why I'm kind of mentioning it, but because I enjoyed it so much, it's Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. That one we had, I think this year, or maybe it was 2020, where we got it for free. I think for PlayStation Plus or something like that. But I had it in my collection, and basically after I finished Village, I was like, okay, they tied in the story. The story was just a continuation from Biohazard. And because I loved Village so much, I just wanted to go and see how it all started with Biohazard. And I was surprised, Biohazard is, there's some things that are similar, but it was a totally different game. But I still actually enjoyed the game. I killed that one in a weekend, so it didn't take a whole lot of time, but I enjoyed the puzzles and, the strategies on how to get around the area. I saw where they took where they created a lot of ideas. They started a lot of ideas in 7 and then added them to 8 and just improved on them. And so I liked, being able to see that stuff. So I had great fun with that one. Another one, this one's kind of another one that was, out for a while, but it was Days Gone, man. That had been one of those games that I had heard about a little bit, but I feel like it wasn't a whole lot of publicity on it or anything. I feel like I didn't see it is promoted as much as I would normally see a PlayStation game, a PlayStation exclusive game. But they gave it to us for the PlayStation collection, and I played it on my PS5, man, and I loved that game. That game was awesome, man. It was a super big open world type of game, and it was just a lot to do. And I thought the story was good, and it was almost you thinking you're this close to the end of the game, and then there's more, and it's holy shit, man, this is a lot of stuff that they put in this game. But I had fun with it, and I enjoyed a lot about it. I'm kind of sad to hear that there won't be a Days Gone 2, but it's understandable, with the way the story ended. It's not necessary, but so that was one. A game that came out, I don't think it came out this year per se. I guess I got a lot of old ass games. My backlog was pretty long, but this game did come out this year for Game Pass, and it was Monster Train. That was a little indie game, but I had a lot of fun playing that game, man. I was surprised. I think Ray put me onto it, and told me it was a good game and I should check it out. And I downloaded that shit, and then I was just damn, I see why this is, a solid game. Why you would recommend this. I could just play this bitch for a couple of hours. It's oh, I'll get another game in. You know what I mean? It's damn, I got almost to the end, but I just got beat, because of the game mechanic or something. So it's okay, what can I get now to roll? And then, making the right decisions in your deck. It's it's so random each time. Even though you're playing with like the same type of a deck, your cards are never the same. And like you might have like some OP rolls that make your cards like way better. But you know, it was just one of those things like where I had fun, and it's like a cool little game that I'll probably keep it on my system. And like, you know, when I'm not doing anything, or just like when I just want to like shoot some shit real quick, just for like a little bit of time, I might just pop it in, play it, just for a little bit of time, just to, to waste some stuff, because it was like fun, So that was I had fun time. And then one last one was Dodgeball Academia. I was actually surprised about this one. This was like, I think, another game that freaking Sir Knight had recommended. But this one was like, it reminded me so much of fucking Pokemon, man, with the way it played. And, you have your different people that are on your team or whatever, that I think you get like the whole time or whatnot. And it's just like, the little battles each time, and just trying to utilize your characters that your main character, and then the characters that you have on your team, to win in these damn dodgeball games. And it seems like it'd be stupid, but it's actually pretty fun, and it's simple, so it's not like a taxing game that requires like any crazy like brain work or anything like that, but it's one of those that you can just pop on and then just enjoy it for a short period of time and get off. You know what I mean? You play a little bit through the story, stop, and and get off. And there's just like tons of little missions and stuff like that to do. It's by far not like one of those that you would play for like a story. It's literally just pure, fun to play. That's why I would never mention it on my list of like top 10, because it's not much there to it. But I definitely had some fun with it. So it's definitely one of those like time killers type of thing. I feel like that one would work out superbly on the Switch. I'm not sure if it's on Switch. It probably is. Yeah, so I think it would be like one of those primo games to take with you on the go and whatnot. But yeah, as far as my honorable mentions, that's it for me. That's what I have.
I love you, me.